I contemplate the moment in the garden, the idea of allowing your own crucifixion.
In terms of actions, Alex, that we have taken, or we're working to take, I should say, from the federal government, we've increased disinformation research and tracking within the Surgeon General's office. We're flagging problematic posts for Facebook that spread disinformation.
This is Facebook. Quote, "We've partnered with government experts, health authorities, and researchers to take aggressive action against misinformation about COVID-19 and vaccines to protect public health. So far, we've removed more than 18 million pieces of COVID misinformation, removed accounts that repeatedly break these rules, and connected more than 2 billion people to reliable information about COVID-19 and COVID vaccines across our apps."
I'd like to talk to you about censorship. So given everything you're saying, why did YouTube and other places censor discussion of Ivermectin?
Well, there's a question about why they say they did it, and there's a question about why they actually did it. Now, it is worth mentioning that YouTube is part of a consortium. It is partnered with Twitter, Facebook, Reuters, AP, Financial Times, Washington Post, some other notable organizations, and that this group has appointed itself the arbiter of truth. In effect, they have decided to control discussion ostensibly to prevent the distribution of misinformation. Now, how have they chosen to do that? In this case, they have chosen to simply utilize the recommendations of the WHO and the CDC and apply them as if they are synonymous with scientific truth. Problem, even at their best, the WHO and CDC are not scientific entities. They are entities that are about public health. For YouTube to decide that something is deceptive or misinforming on a medical topic that is rapidly developing. If the WHO or the CDC were to be captured, right? If influence was to be exerted over one or both of these bodies, surely we would need to talk about it on the various podcasts that are on YouTube in order to figure out what to do about the fact that an essential set of organizations that are supposed to be protecting the public health might be doing someone else's bidding instead.
Today, the Biden administration announced their investment of $3.2 billion from the American Rescue Plan as part of the COVID-19 antiviral development strategy. It's a whole of government effort aimed at developing the next generation of COVID-19 treatments, as well as preparing us for future threats.
Here in the US, all FDA-approved new uses for existing drugs, such as maybe Ivermectin, still require randomized control trial data and a full new drug applications being submitted to the FDA for approval, and most of these new applications are sponsored by the pharmaceutical industry. The likelihood for this to happen in the US is not very high because there's no monetary incentive to sponsor a very low-cost drug trial such as the Ivermectin.
You want the White House going to, if the White House came to the New York Times and said, "We need you to take down that story, it's disinformation." Do you think the New York Times would do it? Obviously not. If the Biden White House came to us here at Daily Wire and they said, "That story that you have up, we think it's disinformation, take it down." We might evaluate whether it is in fact disinformation, but we would then use our own independent judgment in taking it down. We wouldn't take the White House's word for it.
I contemplate the moment in the garden, the idea of allowing your own crucifixion.